السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. النوماخية التي تعني حرفياً حرب العقل، والتي يمكن اعتبارها أيضاً حرباً داخل العقل أو حتى حرباً ضد العقل. مشروع يعتمد على دراسة معمقة لمختلف الثقافات والأنظمة الفلسفية والفنون والأديان والسمات النفسية وخصائص الحضارات الإنسانية. لكن ما أهداف النوماخية ووظائفها ومبادئها؟ نتعرف عليها أكثر مع مبتكر المشروع المفكر الروسي ألكسندر دوغين من الداخل. معكم زينب صفار، تابعونا. لعل مشروع النوماخيا يعتمد على دراسة معمقة لمختلف الثقافات والأنظمة الفلسفية والفنون والأديان والسمات النفسية وخصائص الحضارات الإنسانية. النوماخيا تقوم على تشريح جميع الشعوب القديمة والحديثة المتطورة للغاية والبدائية، تلك المتقدمة تقنياً وتلك التي تفتقر إلى لغة مكتوبة. فالهدف النهائي من النوماخيا هو الإظهار والإثبات القاطع أنه لا يمكن مقاربة وتقييم أي ثقافة بطريقة هرمية، أي متطورة أو متخلفة، من الأعلى إلى الأدنى، حديثة سابقة للحداثة، حضارية أو متوحشة، وما إلى ذلك. بل إن التقييم المسؤول والدقيق لأي ثقافة بشرية يجب أن يكون من الداخل ومن قبل من ينتمون إليها، ومن دون فرض ثمة تحيزات خارجية في تأويل تلك الثقافات. البروفيسور ألكسندر دوغين المنظر والمفكر وعالم الاجتماع والمؤرخ الروسي، وبحثه الأخير والأحدث عن الحضارات يتحدث عن النوماخيا، والتي تعني حرفياً حرب العقل، التي بالإمكان أيضاً تصورها بكونها حرباً ضمن العقل أو حرب العقول أو حتى حرباً ضد العقل. فما الذي يعنيه تحديداً بالنوماخيا، ومن أين استخلص اسمها؟
The main idea of Naumachia, I have written 24 volumes.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. You're a prolific writer. We have to tell our viewers that you have more than 60 books.
Yes, that are last 24.
Last 24, yes.
Book. So my main idea that everything the human being is dealing with are not the object or world on something, but only ideas. So we are living in ideas. So we are ideas, we are living inside of ideas, and all the confrontations, all the problems, all the alliances, all encounters, all meetings, all dramas, everything is in the world of mind. Okay. So that is maybe philosophical vision, close to Sufism, Platonic philosophy, that yes. We are living in a world of ideas. And when we say we are going to fight someone, or we are going to construct this kind of civilization, on where we transform, we're making some Reformation religion, always we are dealing with ideas. So, Naumachia, this concept of the fight of ideas, but everything is idea. So that is about everything. And my main concept that we need to reduce all phenomena to ideas, and after that treat them. Ideas are different. So my main concept that there is not only one idea or only one spirit.
One sacred idea, but that yes. Each culture
has constellations of ideas, sometimes very contradictory and complex. So a dialogue between the different civilizations should take in consideration this richness of this dialectic of each society. So we could not say, for example, in one age, in West, modern West, we say human rights. What would mean for the Westerners of Middle Ages? What human rights mean for Russian Orthodox Church? What does it mean for Islamic Indonesian, for example, village? What does it mean for Indian Amazonic tribe? What does human rights mean for African, for Buddhist, for Chinese? And when we understand how different will all these expressions sound in different languages, how different the concept of man, of right, of law, of moral, of politics, of culture, so we could arrive
arts, religion,
human rights. There is nothing universal in that, because human, modern, liberal Westerner understand as individual, and maybe in Middle Ages there was the soul, completely different soul. In our understanding of liberal Western culture, soul is optional. You could believe in soul or not believe, you still individual. In the Middle Age, if you say this man has no soul, or believes he has no soul, he will be put out of the society. He will be discarded totally. He will be not considered. He would be not considered as human being, and so he
lost his soul. We say
soul and the rights with the soul.
With the
soul.
soul.
The same, I think, more complicated in Islamic culture. The man is inconceivable in Islamic culture without relations to God. Not only Muslim, the man is without this relation to God, personal relation. It doesn't
exist.
The
relation of the land with the sky.
Absolutely.
This has to be.
Absolutely. The man, his heart, and the God. They acts. That is the man, not the physical body or moving physical body, not animal in us. So if we, for example, consider human rights theory in the Islamic context, we should place in the center God, or relation of man to the God, and so on. In China different, in Russia different. So that is example how different civilizations are, how different they are definitions of the same, seemingly the same object, world, death, soul, body, relations between the sexes. Everything is defined by civilization, not by some universal rule. But when we are speaking about universal rule, we are dealing only with modern liberal West.
Which you detest.
I detest, absolutely, in any sense.
You want to come back to the traditional values.
Not only come back. Tradition is not the past. Tradition is eternity.
Exactly. You want to try, to make them more accessible back again from the liberal methods. I
think that liberalism is a kind of plague, a global plague that destroys all kind of civilizations. So that is desacralizations. That is a real challenge to all humanity. It's something absolutely unhuman and satanic. Political Western modernity. So I accept everything, archaic society, religious society, all kind of society, theocratic, Buddhist society, but no, I don't accept this pretension of universality of modern liberal West. I think that everything is right except modern liberal West. That is what is really wrong, because it's poisonous, it's toxic, it's aggressive. And I don't invite only simply to return to tradition. I think we need to rethink tradition. Tradition is based, sacred tradition, religion tradition, sacred in any senses, is based on the eternity. But eternity, it is not past. Eternity is now, and it will be in the future. So eternity is completely different understanding of time placed inside of the eternity. And all sacred tradition, all civilizations, including ancient European classical civilization, were and are based on this eternity. So eternity, that is matter, and eternity, it is idea. So we should not we shouldn't return to the past. We should direct ourselves to this eternity, to what we are, what is in center of us, in center of Russian culture, in center of Islamic, Lebanese, Muslim, Shia, Sunni, Sufi, Indian, Chinese culture. We should return to ourselves, not to some past. And we need to maybe to go to the future. But future is possible when there is eternity. We should take from eternity its path and realize that and live that in the future. And that will be an ontological future.
Right. So, sir, these are the guiding principles of Noumachia.
The guiding principles are that we could create a kind of three type of organization of mind.
Okay.
Apollonian,
yes,
Dionysian, and Sibyllian.
Yes.
That is one form.
This is I didn't understand.
So that is a little bit development of Nietzsche's concept.
Exactly.
Nietzsche has proposed that there are two styles of thinking or art. Apollonian, that is totally vertical, patriarchal, as Plato. That is Dionysian, that is a kind of balance between matter
and
matriarchat.
Sibyllian is the
matriarchat.
Yes.
And there are three kind of philosophy in ancient Greece. Platonism was the logos of Apollo. Dionysius, that was the Aristotelian philosophy. And there was Democritus, that was materialist atomist and very modern philosopher, because if we read today Democritus or Epicurus, we have feeling that we are reading modern philosophical texts, and that was matriarchal, materialist, atomist philosophy, and the third logos, third form of mentality. And I think that was in the beginning maybe of civilization, Mediterranean civilization, and now it is back. The third logos, materialistic logos, is back. So that we are living in the age of Cybele, of Great Mother, and that explains feminism, materialism, and also a feminization of the male types, because they were as a kind of priest of Cybele. They were castrated, so the eunuch. And that is the more and more normative type of Western civilization. So I think that in Bible it is called the purple whore, the whore of Babylon, Babylon.
Yes.
And that is very, very satanic image. So that return of the Great Mother cult is regarded as eschatological science. So we need to restore Apollonian and Dionysian logos and fight against this.
You need to restore to make them the three present in today's life.
Absolutely.
Because they continue each other.
Yes.
Sir, allow us to stop now for a short break, and then we will talk about your aims through the Noumachia project. إذا فاصل قصير ونعود، لا تذهبوا بعيدا. البروفيسور ألكسندر دوغين، المنظر والمفكر وعالم الاجتماع والمؤرخ الروسي، يشرح أهدافه عبر مشروع النوماخيا وكيف تترجم من خلال ديناميات اليوم.
I think that is philosophical or maybe metaphysical basis for multipolarity, because in this analysis and this description, thick description of civilizations.
24 volumes.
Yes, I think as well I'm trying not only describe them from formal criteria, but as well to go deep in them, to for example,
into the depth of the matter.
The depth of the matter. And Henri Corbin once has, Henri Corbin, French philosopher, he was Protestant, he said, studying Shia culture, we Shiite. But he was still Protestant. Interesting. So in order to understand the culture, the other culture, we need to go there. We need to live it. To live it. To
breathe into
it. Yes. And after that you could return to your identity. But without without this voyage, with travel, without this trip to other culture, you could not understand. We shouldn't project our ideas on other. And this Noumahia project, it is description of different civilization, how they see the world, and not how we, Westerners or Russians, see them.
You know, sir, what's the problem of the Americans, and they are the spearhead of the unipolarity, is that they lack this openness to the otherness.
Absolutely.
And empathy to otherness, like the Chinese, the Russians,
absolutely.
The Muslims, whatever they...
That is absolutely the problem. All the books, all the description of civilization, all the universal, so-called universal laws or values they promote, they are Western, their values. So they have no idea about what the other is. For them, the other is or the same or worse. Nothing. That's the point. So they could not imagine existence of other that could not be the same as themselves or worse. So that is a racist attitude, and these 24 volumes are kind of strikes against cultural racism of the West. It is not polemics, it's just description. But when I describe, for example, African tribe and their beliefs, I am totally in favor of them. I don't judge them as would judge them modern, including modern Russian and Islamic searcher. I try to be with them and to see the world with their eyes, and I try to reconstruct their logos what exactly as in their culture is the situation. So that is a kind of multipolarity that shows how complex the world is. In order to arrive to some universal value, so we need to ask all these cultures, small and big. We need to take in consideration all the semantic meanings of the main concept, main ideas.
Their peculiarities.
Yeah, absolutely. And without that, we could not say, oh, there is universal. And we have, if we have forgotten to ask some lost tribes what they think about, for example, human or right, on torture or death, on life or soul, on God, or, on body, on earth. If we forget to ask them, smallest people, smallest tribe, we will not be in the universality. We will project on them something else. So that is the kind of anti-encyclopedia. That is not a criticism of the West, that is affirmation of the rest. And many books I have dedicated to history of identity of the Western people, and that is as well very interesting, because modernity, liberal modernity, Western modernity is only part of their identity. They have committed in the beginning of enlightenment, they have committed suicide of their culture. They cut their roots, and they now tries to cut the roots of the other. So that is the real problem of modernity, enlightenment, universalism, progressism, Western civilization. We need not to restore the past, we need to accept existing differences of different society. That is in maybe if the word democracy would not so discredited by liberal democracy, I would apply that these 24 volumes, that is the monument for real democracy between civilization. But I think that the word is totally perverted, and we have lost it. It's rather insult. Absolutely. So much used against everything
so much
noble. Abused. Absolutely.
It's a real meaning.
Better past that.
Sir, can you describe the method that lies at the heart of all Noumahia?
So the first of all, I'm starting that we could not say from very beginning, for example, that this is the culture, Indian culture, for example, is logos of Apollo, or logos of Dionysus, or logos of Cybele. We need first to search, to explore. And when we explore that, we find in all the cultures all three logos. All three logos. That is incredible in all. And what we think, for example, Earth tonic cultures of Africa, Black Africa. It is not so. The different tribes, different groups have completely different combinations of these logos. More than that, during history of each people, the balance of the logos could change. That add as well dynamic dimension.
If this balance could change, what does it mean?
It doesn't mean that there is the fight between these logos in each culture. In each culture there is Apollo, Dionysus, and Cybele, and they are in a permanent conflict. And the balance and proportions between them defines the moment of the when we live. And that is very interesting. And we could not identify some general rule, because in any civilization, these proportions, this dynamic, everything is different. And that is very complex system, but it is akin maybe to new physics or new mathematics that is based on complexity. It is not linear. We could not apply some simple rules for that could define how these three logos are going to develop, to manifest themselves, interact. In any civilization, and that is most important, I think, result. In any civilization, in each civilization, there is different history, different proportions. So that is incredibly interesting. So that is so humanity is so rich. Human culture, human history, human politics, human mythology, human religions, human spirit is so rich. And so dynamic. It lives in this world of idea. It's so far from the body that tries to be satisfied with material needs, as the Western Anglo-Saxon mostly concept represent human. So that is insult. I think modern liberal anthropology is insult against humanity. So the human being is so rich, with human history is so rich, that we need go to every civilization in order to study. That is a kind of the spiritual palace that we discover then in jungles, in lost tribes, in the huge civilization as Chinese, in India, everywhere where human is, there is incredibly rich and open system of all intellect in the world. So intellect is the man is intellect, and every man, not only Western or civilized, any kind of human being is precisely part of this incredibly rich structure.
Bless your heart, sir. Have you finished all the volumes about Newmakhia?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent.
Recently.
You know, you have this passion when you talk about Newmakhia. This is very interesting and this is very important because you relate a lot to human beings. You just told me that you came here to Lebanon, you haven't visited many places, but you have seen the people, and this is very important for you.
That is essential.
This is essential in your
work. That is the country. The country is the heart of the people.
The people, yes, of course. Professor Alexander Dougan, Russian theorist, thinker, and philosopher and sociologist also. Many thanks indeed again for your enlightening, eye-opening views, sir, and insights.
شكرا.
Always welcome, sir. إذا لقاء جديد في الأسبوع المقبل مع ضيف جديد وقضية جديدة ودائما من الداخل. للمزيد من التواصل تابعونا على صفحات السوشيال ميديا من كل فريق عمل برنامج من كل الميادين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.